everyone, welcome to week 11 at room 3428. This is Saturday, or Josh Day. I'm in a better mood this week, obviously. I have a lot to cover because there's a lot of extra stuff that I want to do too. So, let's get the ball rolling. Lisa, favorite drink would probably have to be a vodka and cranberry, or a wedding cake martini if someone knows how to play it right. Or make it right, even. Vodka and cranberry, simple, easy, gets you drunk, and cleans your urinary tract. And a wedding cake martini gets you drunk without you even realizing it. It's delicious. Apparently some bartenders call it pineapple upside down. It's really sweet, though. So I'm also just a fan of whiskey and Coke, because that's just down and dirty. It's a man's drink. Favorite lines from Hairspray on stage: Amber, you have acne of the soul. And from the movie, it's hard having fun playing with yourself, from the song Lady's Choice. Because that's just an amazing line. MJ, what song would you sing at karaoke? I've actually sung this one before, but it was in a lower key, and I just thought it was funny. I Honestly Love You by Olivia Newton-John. Lady's Choice from Hairspray, if it's available. I don't know where one would find the karaoke version of that. I have no idea of any 2-disc Hairspray soundtrack that might have the karaoke version of that. Or, if I were drunk enough and could still hit the notes, Fancy by Reba McEntire. Teachers. I never really had, bad teachers that stuck out. I just kind of dealt with shit. But here's a list of a handful of them. Miss Kern was my high school theater teacher all 4 years. She was amazing. She was a good director, a good friend. If you didn't care about her class, then she would just, she'd be an okay teacher. She was an okay teacher. She'd tell you the stuff, she'd try to get you interested. Once she found out that you were interested, she'd go a bazillion miles. Mrs. Emery was my photography teacher my senior year of high school, and she was also really great. She was one of Miss Kern's friends. Same thing. If you just did the assignments, Miss Emery was like, great, you did the assignment. Here's your grade. If you were interested in changing or being a little more artistic or a little more creative, she'd help you with that and give you her honest opinion as a photographer herself. Her and Miss Kern and I would go, when I had free periods senior year, we'd go to lunch during 6th period, so that was fun. In college, Dr. Lonchar was my lit teacher and my English degree mentor, and she was amazing. She's really funny, great to talk to. I did an independent study with her on children's theater, in which I wrote a children's play, more on this later. And she was one of the professors for a class where we went to London. She's great to travel with, so I had a lot of fun with her. I really like her. Robin Payne, who we did the welcoming song for in my personal channel, you can see. Former head of the National Theatre School of New Zealand. She's an amazing, amazing friend and an amazing director. She's just really honest, and she's been in the business a lot. She used to teach voice for the Royal Shakespearean Company. Mark Rylance, who just won a Tony for Best Actor in a play on Broadway, she taught him his voice work, and he was just recently the artistic director of The Globe in London. Amazing friend, amazing teacher. She just knew how to lay it out, and she would be honest about you and stuff, and she could pull stuff out of you that you didn't even know you had. Margaret Mitchell, not the author of Gone with the Wind, but the costume aficionado at Incarnate Word. Brutally honest when you need her to be. She didn't care about bullshit. She'd just be like, well, this is what you need to do. If you showed an interest in improving yourself, she took an interest in assisting you to improve yourself. And it said to me one day, we can't endorse you to go to the national auditions for grad schools because we were not recently familiar with your work as a playwright. But if that's what you want to do, I will do whatever I can to get you into a grad program as a playwright. And then I cried. So those are my amazing teachers. Addie waved at me. Hi, Addie. And hi, Lizzie. I've seen Margaret Cho and Kathy Griffin live, so I've got sort of the gay-themed stand-up cornered. I really want to see Eddie Izzard, though, and I missed out on tickets this time around. Lisa, I don't know this little store, little shop of horrors. I'm not familiar with this show at all. I've never done it or anything, that's for certain.
I'm about to see will be my son. Just say the word, I'll have my lawyer on the phone.
Now, Mr. Wilson, don't be rash. You always said that I was trash.
Oh, I was joking. Excuse the physical expression of my pride. I'm the sweet maternal Michigan. I'm hell-bent up inside.
fantasy piece. I'm just so scared because it sounds so monumental, and I start comparing myself to the authors that I like. I don't think I could ever do that. But I'll read a bit for you. And if you haven't read it, I think I've sent it to most of you. But I'll read a bit from the prologue, and you guys can tell me what you think. They were fleeing for their lives. Mari and Kaisam, the latter carrying their son, sprinted up the hallway towards their last chance for escape. Their footsteps echoed off the towering stone walls as they rounded the final corner toward the Hall of Seers. The high, slender windows flooded the hallway with bright yellow and orange light of early sunset, crisscrossing one another along the way. The mullions in the open windows cast cage-like bars of shadow at the end of each beam, causing Mari to shiver as she ran just steps behind her husband. This place had become a prison all too quickly, and she silently cursed herself for not realizing it sooner. Kaisam clutched their 4-year-old boy to his chest as he bolted toward the door to the Hall of Seers. Mari needed her hands free to weave the winds behind them, keeping their pursuers at bay. They still seemed too far away to make it into the hall in time, and Mari was wondering.
How bad he will be my son.
Stop suddenly.
To say the word, I'll have my lawyer on the phone.
Now, Mr. Booth, don't be rash. You always said that I was
Oh,
trash.
I was joking.
I'm joking.
Use a physical expression of my pride. Of the sweet with the Michigan. I'm hell-bent up
This
inside.
was less than a shout. When Kaisam didn't obey wherever she went further, she heard 2 warm streams of water beneath her and forcing him to glide to remain in distance between himself and the village.
Gee.
The toddler in Kaisam's eyes were shut.
So,
Well,
He's still very
well,
the anxiety from his mother.
you go ahead and say it. She will tell me that you will.
gee, I'd really like to, but
I'll hold my breath until.
Hanging on for himself, he allowed his father relief from some of his weight. Helping his father carry his tiny frame was the best he could do, and it was a task he accepted with all the strength he could muster. As Kaisam and Cameron floated to the door, Mari released the threads around them so that Kaisam may gain his footing. He refused to go any further without his wife, despite her repeated plea of "Go!" Mari reached above her again, feeling the strength of a warm gale that picked up energy and heat from the fire in the stables below. Bridget had cut off their last attempt to escape by simply setting the stables alight from her bedroom window. She had smiled smugly as the stable boys, porters, and horses were all caught ablaze by the ferocity and the follow-through of her livid, powerful scratch that rent the fabric of the air itself. Her favorite method of exercising her power when she was most intent on destruction. As the thread swirled around her arms, Mari felt the warmth of the blaze, and with it the sorrow and misery of the lives that were lost. She used a few of the threads beneath her just under the soles of her feet and up to wrap lightly around her ankles. Warm air was best for flight, and she would need to use some of her last reserve of strength to reach the end of the hall with her husband and child. With the rest of the now tangled wind threads from the warm gale, she began to spin intricately with her fingers. Her hands were winding in a delicate figure 8 while she plucked and braided the gale towards her purpose. With a final overextended wave, she released the newly woven gust in front of her, pinioning it to the very walls and floor at her sides and feet. She screamed, the force of the shove tearing at her right shoulder. Kaisam nearly started toward her again, but with her left hand she pushed gently toward him, forcing him back against the door of the Hall of Seers. Her right arm was still stretched forward as her adrenaline was exhilarated by the tear in her muscle. She finished her spell and released the woven wind in front of her. So that's it. I think I've covered all the questions. There were a lot this week, so I'm not going to ask another one. Oh, no, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to change it up a bit. I'm going to do a challenge for one person, and I want to see the response. MJ, if you can edit it together, I would like to hear a clip of you doing something karaoke. Of you singing, like actually singing like you would if you were out. MJ, that's my challenge to you. Yeah. So, that's it. I love you guys. I miss you guys. Lisa is right. This is our standard sign-off, and I will talk to you guys later. They were fleeing for their lives. Mari and Kaisam, the latter carrying their son, sprinted up the hallway towards their last chance for escape. I've noticed when I'm more focused, there's not as many outtakes. When I'm focused. How often does that happen?